right now, but we are in a game 3, and only one can win this one.
It's always impressive to me, too, to see teams, when they're getting slammed, as CLG was, they were getting smashed in game 2, continue to try to make plays, continue to try to go for the winning play. And yeah, it obviously didn't work, but I'd way rather see a team lose in 25 minutes trying to make the winning play than sit in your base for 40 minutes and guarantee that you will not win.
Yeah. It's kind of the, we're too afraid to lose.
Exactly. It's playing to not lose instead of playing to win. And CLG was playing to win in game 2, but they did lose. And now we'll see if they're going to first pick this Lee Sin, which has been pivotal a couple times in a row. And Xayah being first pick, that to me is like, not that Xayah is not very strong, but it's a head scratcher for the reason that Xayah was not really, being picked. And it actually was able to be picked, I believe, in the first game. And then CLG banded out the second. So it's like, it's just strange to see them go there when I think they probably could have even just got
There's just higher priority.
Yeah.
Something else. Right. As well, they could go for the duo. That's what they want. All right, I mean, you see an Orianna coming in here for the next one, but they go Galio immediately.
Wow, this is a fast pick ban for CLG.
Very, and the dive potential is awesome so far. We'll see what TSM has on their side to round this out.
And it's not like CLG will be surprised, like, oh, they took Lee Sin, who could have predicted this? They obviously know what they're getting into when you go for a draft like this. And there still are, a lot of junglers up on the table, but I'm expecting to see, a couple of them banned away. Orianna actually taken there.
Yeah,
I would not have been surprised to see Elise plus one more banned, and I would really be surprised if at least Elise is not banned. Like, I think you definitely want to take that one away.
Away from Dardoch, get that final one out. You have to play a Kha'Zix or something like. Still have his Crazy Graves in there. If they do have the CC already, Elise gets taken out, as you said. 20 seconds here.
We also still don't know, is this a mid Galio? Is this a top Galio? We've even seen it play support. Obviously, it won't be this game because Rakan is there, but it makes it harder to actually pick for TSM because they have to be willing to play both against the Galio and against the blind pick, right? So no matter whether you pick your top laner or your mid laner, you have to be okay playing against Galio.
Let's see this. Could be a side siege. Is this another game where who he takes, if they get more wave clear, Cassidy for himself in mid lane and keeps this team of TSM separated?
It's possible, but if Bjergsen leaves his pick to last, which usually TSM will do,
that's true.
It would be scary, but he's not leaving to last. And Cassidy, the call that you had made, is actually quite good into Taliyah.
Right.
You obviously will get pushed in the early levels, but once you hit 6, assassins are something that Taliyah really struggles to deal with. So Cassidy is possible. There's obviously a lot of options here. Syndra, is not available. Neither is Orianna. Those are some of the most common ones, but you can go a number of different directions. You can just go for some sort of a wave clear mage. You can go things like Echo, like Ahri, like even like the Cassidy. And so definitely some options there, but are going to go with Ahri, which is pretty safe, pretty standard, and also can still be very effective into the Taliyah.
Still a very mobile team. Everybody has a way to dash, dive, dip, and dodge. I guess Stixxay has to wait for his ultimate to do so. See the round out. It is going to be that Graves in the jungle coming in for Dardoch. He's pushed off the Elise, doesn't want the Kha'Zix play, and he takes the power and aggression of Graves.
All right, so Graves is definitely a very strong jungler. One of the things that he doesn't provide nearly as well as someone like the Elise or the Lee Sin is the early ganking pressure.
Right.
Yes, you can pull off ganks, but he doesn't have CC. You kind of just have to wander in there with a red buff and hope that you can take them down. This is going to be pretty interesting. It should be Galio top going up against that Renekton, so Haunter had his choice of those picks. Definitely a lot of early pressure could be put on here by Svenskeren with gank assist that's very strong in both top and bot lane. You have the Thresh, you have the point-and-click stun from the Renekton. So he has a lot of opportunities to move around the map and look to make plays. That said, if CLG can get to mid-game, there's so many ways in for the Galio. The Flash RW combo that we've seen from Aphromoo engaging from a full screen away, now imagine that's followed up by the Galio ultimate. That is terrifying, and Ahri is a good way in there too, and you have strong backline damage with a double 80 carry composition. So both of these comps have a lot of strength.
That's exactly what I was looking at, because you think Rakan goes in, the Galio has to charge that dash up. So wait, would it take too long? But you have the Spirit Rush. You have as well Dardoch on that Graves pick, I was thinking, why the Graves pick? That collateral damage is long range. If you need to finish off from long range on that engage from Afromu, you have that finisher. So they have a lot of those options. TSM coming off a very strong game. Svenskeren back on the Lee Sin after a 13-0-12. Bjergsen gets the Talia once again for himself. Doublelift for after doublelift, Bio for almost the same composition for TSM, so it should be like riding a bike.
Yeah, the only change here for TSM is no Gragas, right? And that is it. I mean, they have a very good composition here for themselves. They just smashed with essentially the same one as last game.
Run it back, not even salty.
Yeah, they're going to be looking for the unsalty run back.
That's right. Sans salt, and we are on the Rift. 1 game to CLG, game 1. Game 2 over to TSM as they were able to recoup very strong. And now both teams here with their last chance for a victory. CLG looking to go 4-0 on the start of the summer split. TSM looking to keep that at an even 2-2.
Dardoch talks so much about the importance of this, right? You know, if they lose here, he doesn't even care about, you know, how well they do. Until they get to play TSM again, they won't be able to prove that they are the best team in North America. So this game meaning so much for both of these teams. TSM desperately wanting to get a win to start their rise towards the top of the standings. A Doublelift talking about, you know, his rivalry is not even a player, it's this organization. He wants to beat CLG more than anyone else. So a lot on the line for both teams here.
I think we'll start things off pretty basic. Awards over towards Raptors. This was more or less a Bjergsen lane in the middle that we saw. Hanser was able to kind of keep Darshan back in the beginning of the game. TSM last game was lane efficient, which allowed them to get out very fast.
We've also seen 2 games in a row now, CLG's bot lane struggle with their base timings. They have not been able to get you know, a base off at a really good time because they're either getting pushed in or they want to stay around for a better buy or whatever it is. But game 1, they lost a dragon off of it. Game 2, they tried to engage without having purchased. They lost a couple kills, a dragon, and a turret off of it. So definitely something to track here will be the base timings of Stixxay and Afromu. Can they actually maintain in this lane and get back to base at a good time so that they can contest some of these objectives?
Well, I would go as far as to say they have the best combination for that in the game in Zion Rakan. So if they can't get it with Zion Rakan, something's wrong. Having one of those back previously or before you, and you can just grab onto it at the last second. Really helpful for somebody like Stixxay to finish out a wave. You get a few more seconds getting back in. Here, it doesn't look like that'll be the case. A level 2 could be coming early for TSM, and the Flay auto damage will come in from Biofrost to start things off. Nice job getting a few hits on each.
And that's what they're going to be working against. You know, they do have that shared recall, which can be really nice, but they're going to be working against the fact that the push from TSM is very strong, and Dardoch now spots out Svenskeren. They are looking like they probably will just back off from here. Biofrost is going to be faster on that roam, and Dardoch does need to pay respect to that. He sees Biofrost. He could be in trouble here, actually.
I was going to say they're going for the flash hook, but he knows a hook could easily clear that out. So now if they find Dardoch in the jungle, he has to make sure he isn't a way to get out.
I'm actually pretty surprised that Dardoch decided to stay around in the river. You know, he was perhaps looking to try to go back in and harass at that blue buff more, but they saw that Biofrost was already missing from lane. So you need to know that he's going to be moving up towards you, and not backing off a little bit early there cost him his summoner.
Not on Elise either. He's going to be very careful what kind of pathing he takes from here on out if Lee Sin is going to be on his back. Hanser having some pretty good engages here onto Darshan has caused him to use all his potions so far, but he's just waiting to get Winds of War up, clear these waves, and he'll be using the farm at his turn.
One of the really big things about Galio is your initial trade is good with your passive auto, your Q, your taunt, your E. It's like, yeah, great, I'm winning. But in the extended trades, you have almost no more damage coming because your cooldowns are relatively long at those early levels. And someone who has Fervor of Battle, like this Renekton, is going to be able to get way more damage in a long trade. So Galio needs to look for very short trades, you know, quick, punch in, hit him with the Q, then back off, and you need to wait for those cooldowns to come back up.
Little games being played here.
Oh, Afro looking for the engage.
There's the entrance. Doublelift has to flash out, and Afro right back to Stixxay. Getting the summoners out of bot lane at TSM.
Yeah, really nice engage there from Afro, and Doublelift was a very smart flash because if he does not flash there, he will get rooted by Stixxay out of that CC. So If he was a split second later with the flash, he would have got rooted up and almost certainly gone down.
Justice punch to stop Hanser on this one. He keeps keeping himself 50% on his bar, so every call he does is going to be healing him a little bit. And even more so if he can hit Darshan in that spinning Q.
One of the nice things about this lane so far for Hanser, though, is he forced a very early base from Darshan, so he didn't go back with a lot of gold. You know, he went back with like around 500 gold, so he gets a Doran's ring, he gets one more pot. That's not a very powerful buy. Whereas Hanser can hang around in this lane for longer, and hopefully, for him, get a much more dominant buy that will allow him to continue to bully this lane. He's up at 1,100 gold or so on this base.
Strong, and also an option for Svenskeren to start something off, a much quieter early game. Coming here into game 3, like you said, we kind of get that both teams in the not want to lose situation, but also comfortable with farming it up after knowing everybody's warmed up and ready to get into these fights. Hanser back to lane, only a bit of a CS lead, but he's going to let this push as much as possible before he actually attacks onto it.
Yeah, he just wants to try to deny as much of that CS as possible. He's expecting that Darshan will be back before he can deny CS to the turret, and in a case like that, you actually want to let the minions survive so that they kill off your own minions, and that's the kind of biggest way to get an advantage. But definitely not the buy I was expecting from him with the cull. So he feels like he's not being pressured at all. He can get an advantage simply by kind of farming out that cull and cashing in later on.
Does seem interesting for the aggressive Renekton.
Yeah, oftentimes people want to really prioritize the strongest possible early buys, like a Doran's Blade on top of that longsword to really give you as much early power as possible to bully that lane. But he's going for a little bit more of a scaling route.
Sven working a little bit of the bot side, has grabbed Scuttle control for the team, and good wards over towards Raptors. They'll have Zardock as soon as he's there. Also, they have the timing on his flash.
So we do see that there was the base for Dumbleth, right? How fast can CLG push this out? And will they decide to actually stick around, or are they going to try to match the base now? Because otherwise, TSM can look to try to force an objective as they're back. They are going to use that shared recall, but fight breaking out.
Svenskeren charmed up, gets himself to safety. Darshan comes in, and that's only a small roam from Hanser. The wave's resetting in the first place. So not much of a problem there. CLG will get their back in the bot as well.
And that's both summoners out of Huhi. So that's actually a pretty big expense from him, trying to get that kill on Svenskeren, not quite able to do it. They also got the ultimate out of Darshan there, so yes, it cost Svenskeren his flash, but now lane advantage should go over to Bjergsen, who has a 2-summoner advantage over his opponent.
I like this. As soon as the wave gets small, top laners don't care about fighting inside of it. Get a little back and forth between Darshan and Hanser. 64 to 49. We figure that's going to be pushed right into Darshan a bit as Hanser is getting good aggression in between these attacks. Also hit him on that back for a little bit once, so denied a bit of CS in the early game. Roams up from Biofrost to give or make sure that Bjergsen has vision, has help if necessary in the mid lane. And he keeps going towards that Raptor side to make sure they can always spot out Dardoch if he's bot side jumping.
Biofrost really had a fantastic game last time. It has been a good showcase of two playmaking supports. Definitely the Afro move, Blitzcrank in game 1 really shined, and then game 2 was much more about Biofrost on this thresh, getting those Mobies and making plays around the map. So we'll see who's going to be able to shine this time. Svenskeren is up top side, but a dive onto Galio is very risky, even with Lee Sin Renekton, who has a very strong level 6 dive. I don't think they can do this. This looks really...
Gonna be the taunt, denies a little bit of damage to Hanser, but they get him outside turret range. He's just gonna walk back in now, no roam up. But that could have been a double kill for anybody. But Darshan almost got it himself.
Yeah.
Oh.
Darshan's actually looking like
he can flash in.
Back in.
He can flash in and get the kill right now. A little bit of a heal from the call there. Oh, the Justice Punch just missing. And he had to get away from Hanser there because his bar was over half too.
Yeah, that was a pretty poor dive from TSM, but Bjergsen down the bot lane trying to defend this turret. That was the answer from CLG, shoving up that turret. So Bjergsen down there for some wave clear. The big problem, like, it's just so risky trying to dive a Galio, period, but the wave had already been cleared out before they started. You want the turret to be hitting the minions, so you're already both in melee range before the turret starts hitting you. If the first time it shoots you is after you've already stunned the Galio, it's a much easier dive to pull off, but in a case like that, you're taking damage on the approach, which buys Galio so much more time.
You can kind of put it in steps that needs to be played out so much faster. You say, oh, I stun Hanser, watch him come into me now, and then he's going to die to the turrets type of situation. Very nicely played. Even though it happens quick, Darshan organizing each play he needs to make even quicker. See who he's roam a little bit into the jungle here. Question mark actually was right on Svenskeren, so they know a big portion of TSM is here towards the bot side.
Yeah, Sven is here. Bjergsen is roaming down. Both top laners have TPs. This is a very dangerous situation. TSM is TPing in. They're looking for the engage. Now comes Darshan.
Darshan as well. Hero's entrance is up as well. Once he gets there, we'll have to see where it's used. Stixxay gets himself back, throws the feathers, and who he's able to come up with first blood. CLG having the lane to escape in. Still able to get the kills on TSM, has the turret behind them.
They get the kills, and this is one hit on this turret. They can continue the dive as it gets finished off.
Straight in, Justice Punch into taunt. Afro move, grand entrance. Does he battle dance back? Not even yet. They want to stay in the fight for more kills. They've already got the charm up, and they're going to just dissipate this fight. Pull back, and a nice hit from CLG as TSM look to be making the movements around the map first, really.
Yeah, 5v5 in the bot lane there. TSM knows CLG is going to try to force for this turret because it's very low, so they try to make the play first. Earlier TP does come in from Haunter, but as soon as Galio lands, the heroic entrance immediately casted for the damage reduction, and the CC coming in there allows them to lock up Svenskeren and take him down. And the first blood going over to who he is very big. And then in the extended play, CLG has the confidence to go for the dive because the turret only had one hit of health.
Setting it and prepping it to be taking down. 1K gold lead, not much for CLG here, but something to work with now that the pressure in the bot lane can be moved around. Darshan will be able to handle that as we bring Stixxay and Alphamu to the top side for CLG. Does not look like TSM's going to let them have that top side of the jungle, though. Now knowing the focus is top side, they're going to try to get a security system awards in there.
I always want to try to control that vision line. And it's important to constantly be moving your vision to where the game is being played, right? You know, if you're going to be focusing on the Rift Herald as your next objective, you need to have the vision there. It doesn't matter if you have full vision control over the Dragon if that's not where you're playing the game. And the pros are constantly reestablishing their vision lines, which is a team effort. You see that it's always the buddy system. It's the junglers, the supports. Even Bjergsen is over here covering Biofrost, making sure that he can do this because it's so important.
Funny too, these wards, when you want to fight, have to go on the team. When you have the ability to play on the team, they can be the wards that aren't showing anybody. That process of elimination, knowing that nobody's on the ward, and you know where they are on the other side of the map. A little back and forth here that brings Haunter and Darshan quite low. Neither can teleport in, so they're left to their own divides for that battle and the minion waves. Summoners up for just about everyone. Looking at that heal flash down for TSM bot. A lot down on the bot for CLG, so they have to be very careful how they take this fight.
That missed charm could have been a cleanse force there, likely. Huhi not able to predict the movement, though, and Biofrost looking for a hit. Not been able to actually connect really any this game so far. Stixxay and Afromoon doing a good job avoiding those.
Again, stepping up. Still have to pay respects to the hook. Battle Dances can get Alphamoon to a pretty slick situation, so he may be able to draw out a hook.
Oh, here comes Talia. They're looking for the fight.
Oh, whoa! Goes for the safeguard to the kick on Dardoch to try and clear out the damage. They drop double lift immediately. And now they're trying to focus on where to go in the rest of the fight.
Yeah, Sven just not able to get the angle on the kick to knock in Dardoch, and they were faster to the move. Afromu able to pull off that RW combo, lock up double lift, take him down. CLG grab another kill.
See that one more time.
And this looked like it was going to be a good play for TSM. Bjergsen rock surfing in. The arrow misses. They uses the Q to get in position to ward hop behind Dardoch, but Dardoch dashing over there got him just out of range, and Afromu locking down double lift, taking him out. And both of the kills have gone pretty much exactly where CLG would want them. You know, on Huhi and Stixxay, those are going to be their big sources of damage this game. It's definitely looking good, but it's a very close game. And there's so many opportunities for TSM to find picks of their own, you know, with the Ashe and you know, the movements around the map from Talia and Thresh and Lee Sin. There's so many chances for them to come back, and going for this Rift Herald could help them even up the gold lead very easily.
Double lift with the slow push top, a little behind in CS with how fast the lanes got pushed out. That bot lane crush to top left him without a few waves. And the CLG probably figure that Rift Herald's going down, so they're going to go ahead and take some time to get the damage onto Dragon.
Bjergsen is actually moving down here, and Haunter is over there as well. We'll have to see how fast the Dragon actually goes down. Doesn't look like they want to try to contest it. Just going to grab their blue instead, as they may be figuring that's the next target for CLG, because you can assume Svenskeren is topside since the Rift Herald just went down. A lot of this is going to be down to how the Rift Herald is also used here. TSM ideally want to get a pick, you know, perhaps with that Ash Arrow, then you immediately drop it so that you can guarantee yourself that first turret and perhaps even for the second.
It's interesting how the pace of each game has changed so drastically. CLG, first game, very fast. Barons, very fast. Same thing with TSM, second game. Now, when the early game has been active here, it really only has been because turret in the bot went down. The game was forced up top. The only play before that was the play that took that turret down. Here, a little bit of 1v1 in the mid lane. One more rush coming in. He goes for the ignite play. Hoo-hee! Almost grabbing the kill.
He actually saved his cleanse for the ignite, and the instant cleanse on the ignite there from Bjergsen. Really interesting choice of how to order those summoner spells, and I hope we get to watch that again. But there's a dive here up in topside. The turret's almost dead, but it's still hitting them.
Nobody's hitting the turret there. They finally get the last shot. Dardoch focuses it, but it's been too long. Afram, who never got an initial knock-up with the grand entrance, Battle Dance put to position, and it did not help. Now the rest of the team is able to tear CLG apart, as Doublelift was just firing from the back line, and Haunter coming in on the TP to help clean things up.
Yeah, the focus was kind of dropped there by CLG. Yeah. They didn't actually finish off the turret. Now 2 kills, the Rift Herald is summoned. TSM could potentially push for double turrets here with this, as CLG's having to go back to base, and now Hui picked up.
Instantly caught out as he goes to place down his vision ward. Bjergsen was reading that one a few steps ahead, has his number. And things are looking up for TSM. It's quick when it happens in these games too. When you have a game where nothing has happened, usually you'll have a 1-2 hit like that, a turret, then the mid laner falls. But it's worse when it's cross map.
Yeah, and it's got to be frustrating for Hu. He's so close on this 1v1. So the reason that Bjergsen is actually deciding to hold this, I guess he's holding it for the ignite, decides to use his flash first, and then the instant cleanse on the ignite. Hui for sure would have thought he had that kill. He needed one more auto, perhaps could have stayed in to get it, but I think he backed off, thinking the ignite had to secure it. And then on the top side,
you think this would be good because Bjergsen's out of lane.
Yeah, and CLG, they want to go for this, but look at the split focus. They're not actually hitting the turret. They didn't finish it off. Aframu went in thinking that the 2 ADs would finish it off immediately. They did 3 or so turret shots go off extra, and that means CLG just takes way too much damage to actually go for this. And then Bjergsen, he's not nearly as cooldown reliant as the Ahri. That charm misses, he can go straight in and clean up Hui, who has no ultimate, no summoners.
It wasn't even a pink ward situation, just a straight up 1v1. Apologize on the false call. A great plays coming out of Bjergsen so far to get himself killed. The Andres is finished up, so he can start to tear down Darshan too if he approaches these fights anytime soon.
Yeah, I mean, Darshan is going to take a lot of damage because he's building only armor right now, and not even any HP. When you go for the Frozen Heart Ninja Tabby's build, you're ridiculously vulnerable to these mages because you don't even have any health to kind of keep you going. But that said, you know, he's even going to be in tough against Haunter, who picks up a couple kills there in those fights. And now Haunter, not only does he have the CS lead, he has the kill lead, and they just took down that turret. So Darshan's going to be having some troubles in these side lanes, perhaps.
This for Nectin for Haunter. Champions like this, if he can get his hands on to his old Fiors or Camille's, plays much like the Poppy. He can be in the fight for a long time. He's huge, still does damage, and that's really where you see Haunter shine, is when he can be in there for a long time. Even if an ability's missed, he can still keep going for kills.
And Haunter, that top lane. Haunter has put himself in a place where he can carry this game. He's 2,000 gold up now on Darshan. That's, you know, a massive amount. Darshan at this point almost would just want to stay in a side lane and kind of keep Haunter out of the fight, but keep himself out of the fight. Because sometimes if your opponent is actually much stronger than you, but you can hold them neutral and just be farming the waves, that's better than you actually grouping, because they will be more effective than you are if you both group.
Absolutely, and that's kind of the thing Galio provides. He gets to that fight. Haunter's only good providing himself some resistances. But 205 to 150 in CS there. He has had the upper hand in the matchup most of the time, controlling the waves. So far in one game, it has paid off. Here in game 2, only a 500 gold lead to TSM, and that may be just from his lane.
And the call has paid off now too, right? He patched out on that. More of a kind of later game buy, if you want to call it that, and definitely going to be happy about that purchase now. Oh, the engage.
Grand entrance, and Svenskeren cannot get over to the Lantern. The battle dance back as Afromu gets himself to safety. What an ultimate from Stixxay, keeps himself alive, dodging out the arrow, and TSM does not have a kill to follow up on blinking members of CLG.
But Haunter, he's going to get the top lane turret, and that is a trade that is TSM favored for sure. We'll see if CLG can actually fight back and take down a turret of their own, because if it's just the kill, that's definitely something TSM is going to be pretty happy about.
Always playing off the ball and always making that right call. Didn't have to come in to help the team. Was able to get that for TSM. Darshan now has to pay respects towards that top side, and we'll see where Haunter can now start to put that power a level up on most people in the game, him and Bjergsen actually on. So they'll be able to start using some of these spikes they have. Bjergsen's finished up his boots, going for his next item.
And the fact that Haunter is on this 2-item power spike this fast is really, really scary. So here's Aftermove showing off the flash RW combo. There's just no way to react to that. The charm instantly out of it. They do get the 1 kill, but a lot of damage is traded back. A nice last-second ultimate from Stixxay. Immunes that Ash Arrow. Otherwise, TSM would have been the one coming up with more kills.
Almost hit Aftermove in the nose, too. Just ever so slightly. Good bot lane clear here by Winds of War. Should not be a trouble for Darshan, but Dardoch could be trouble for Haunter. There is a ward on the tri-brush. He may be able to just slice and dice out of this one. And it's just going to be a walk down the lane, really, if they want to try to go for it.
And they have to know that people can be responding. It's very dangerous to do these long chases because you're giving your opponents time to come over and catch up. And Haunter just wants the fight. He's so strong right now.
Ooh, Dardoch just dodges out on the Sonic Wave with the flash. Arrow comes down from double lift from mid lane as the team starts to hover a little bit towards that side. They control Huhi's rotation down towards the fight.
And he's just able to step up and engage on that fight. He knows that he's ridiculously strong, and Svenskeren is going to be there to back him up, so he trades out his ultimate, but he gets a flash from Dardoch, and now the pick over onto...
Oh, almost an instant double kill. Svenskeren very low, cannot get taken down in the end, though. It is a kill for a kill. Supports are down as they both try to get in for an engage.
But again, Haunter is just taking down the turrets, and I don't think that Darshan can afford to keep coming to all these team fights. They're giving up too much in the side lanes, and yes, his team does need some support there, but it's a tough trade-off, and it's hard to know who's making the call on him always joining the fights, but he's so down in farm. They're kind of bleeding out these side lane objectives, and you're letting Haunter get to the point where he's going to be ridiculously hard to stop.
Without the true damage, he's basically going to be Huhi in game 1 with how much farm he has, how big he is, and nobody's going to be able to stop that side lane split push.
And when you get to the third item, which is likely going to be the Gargoyle Stoneblade, as we may see a pick here, but Sven should be okay. And TSM is rotating over now. Double doesn't have his arrow just yet.
Close, but no cigar on that one.
The third item for Renekton should be the Gargoyle Stoneblade. And then you essentially have built up a lot of damage and some HP with these first 2 items, the Titanic plus the Black Cleaver. And now another pick, they're going for double lift.
Ooh. Oh my word, the blue suede shoes. Can he get out of this one alive? Almost makes it.
Haunter here.
He had to go for the long haul on that one and use all of the abilities. This is Bjergsen now from the top side. Haunter has absorbed a lot. Is that the turnaround for TSM? Darshan still in the front line as well. Kick back on the taunt, so no follow-up from either team on that. Haunter looking for the dive in. He is full fury, but Darshan going down as he steps forward without the help of the team.
Yeah, Darshan just way overestimating how tanky he is there. The fight had dissipated. He just steps forward. He's not that strong yet and gets taken down very quickly here by Bjergsen, who is at a much stronger point.
We said what was Darshan had to mitigate against in top lane. He doesn't have that magic resistance other than the cowl. The initiation draws it back, stun on stun from the Xayah Rakan combo as you're locked up until you're knocked down.
And they get that kill on Renekton. That's actually a bounty as well, the 2-kill shutdown. And the kill going over to Stixxay, and that is where most of CLG's gold is focused. And here is the play again, always looking for these engagements. It's the name of the game this season. The flash right onto double lift, holding the charm, but double lift sidestepping pretty much everything. It just doesn't matter against Ari, who does so much damage.
You can only do so much, and then this.
Yeah, so Haunter in the middle of the fight, putting out so much AoE damage. You can see how they're getting chunked down. It looks like CLG may be able to win some of these fights. But now the positioning from TSM, they're backed up into this corridor. The rest of the team cannot follow up, and Darshan just kind of steps up into there, gets shredded by Bjergsen. Because this is a Darshan who's only at 2,000 HP. Like, that's not that much. He has the same amount of health as Bjergsen does right now.
Yep.
Like, he has not built up a lot of tanky stats to deal with Bjergsen.
That is a really good way to put it, right? You have as much health as that mid laner, and the mid laner would not be diving in as much.
Obviously, he has more resistances, but still, it's
right.
just one of those cases where you can very easily overestimate how tanky you are on this champion, because he is quite behind. He's down like 80 CS, a couple kills, plus the solo gold that Hansar has picked up on numerous turrets.
And it's 2 turrets in the top lane for himself. That one, as you said, solo. And now they have to drop mid. It would be great for CLG to find a way in the jungle. No wards really have crossed the river that have stayed alive for longer than they've just been placed, as teams are doing a very good job at keeping each other on their own side. Only a 2K gold lead for TSM as they slowly creep up. Hansar gaining a bigger lead in that lane as he joins the team now in mid. See if they really try to get down on this. Darshan's going to be pushing bot lane with only heroic entrance.
That's kind of just a question of who's going to be more effective with the gold that they have been given. Hansar is very, very strong, but there is also a lot of damage on CLG between Dardoch and Stixay. TSM stepping forward, looking to try to take out this turret. Oh, engage misses from Afromu.
Oh, when you try to go for a full team, it becomes very difficult. They quickly sidestep it. Grand entrance, and the hero's entrance goes in. Unfortunately, Afromu does not make it out. And they're going to look for this turret as the next wave crashes in. It only has a few hundred HP.
Yeah, they should be able to get it no problem, and Svenskeren is around the side, going to be threatening a dive. They can keep going. Who he's caught.
Ruthless Predator onto him. Oh, seismic shove right back into the frying pan. A justice punch forward from Darshan as he tries to pick up just ever so slightly a little bit for CLG here on their mid lane turret. And they back off. With Hansar being down, that's quite a bit of power for TSM. So they go ahead and say, we'll back off and just rinse and repeat. 4-0 now for Bjergsen.
Definitely a lot of power down for Hansar when he's out of there. But CLG also had a really strong 3-man squad still. They had the double AD carries plus the tank. So you have to be respectful of how much they can actually do to you in these fights. And now Infernal spawning. Dardoch's going to try to rush this down, knowing that TSM just went back to base. But Bjergsen and Svenskeren are on their way here, and we'll see if they can actually finish it off in time. I don't think they will. It has been spotted. They don't have the DPS on it right now, and this could be big if TSM can get here in time. Maybe they can stop this, try to steal it away.
The thing is, why not take the fight? You almost have a kill. That's positive on the other side. Dardoch getting the dragon, stays to actually farm out the Krugs right now, and Svenskeren decides not to go over the wall and find out why.
And that was actually flash from both Sven and Bjergsen as they tried to get in range to stop that and take that away. They really wanted that Infernal Dragon. They know they're stronger on the map right now from CLG, and they didn't want to give that up.
Heck of a lot of commitment there. Does not mean TSM will stop going for the next commitment. Bjergsen's already heading out of lane towards the top side, making sure this blue is warded, and a little bit of his top side is warded. And if they don't, it's going to be a dangerous roam for them up here.
Yeah, it definitely could be. TSM certainly has more map control. Both teams are kind of establishing defensive vision, but they haven't really been able to get too much aggressive vision besides TSM. TSM does have really good wards on the bot side, though, covering for Hansar in this split push. You can see 4 wards in TSM's red side jungle that allow Hansar to just push up and try to bully this lead. You know, that's a really good way to enable him to kind of get this CS advantage and get the edge that he has, because if he doesn't have those wards, Darshan can hold the lane away from him, and he can't safely move up.
Well, you already see the result of it. It's a 2-2-3 Hansar now. He was just 2-0-0. So the fact that there weren't any wards meant CLG had some collapses that worked very well, and they've been able to get TSM out of position due to their vision. Now we've refreshed that so teams can play a little safer, but also try to make those moves a little more cautiously to get the engage.
The gold lead is just enormous for Hansar right now, looking for the engage here on a Bjergsen.
The double hit. Do they continue to go? Afromu thinks he can get the charm down on enough members. Actually keeps himself alive in a 4-person situation.
Hansar
what a taunt from Darshan as Hansar tries to do the same thing.
He's killing
Galio or Renekton. Who's going to do more damage? And I think we find out in the end. It's Hansar coming up big for TSM. All the way in. Svenskeren takes the resonating strike. Lives with under 100 HP, and TSM is doing everything on a wire.
Yeah, TSM barely winning out on that fight with blinking health bars. But it's just the gold lane, the gold advantage in the top lane. Haunter gets so much work done when he TPs in. He is ridiculously ahead, almost 4,000 gold ahead of his individual lane partner. So when they TP in, it's Haunter who has the bigger impact. And there is the engagement from Afro. They catch out Bjergsen, but it's just him and Stixxay there. They don't have the follow-up damage to actually finish him off. And then watch how much damage Haunter gets out with this AoE in the back line. Is able to just shred through people, taking down Aframu, and then surviving to run out as Darshan has already been burned down.
Oh my word.
Oh, they're on Baron.
A few more hits, Svenskeren locks up Baron, but it looks like CLG's quite healthy to start things off. Haunter goes down to start it, and that's gonna be Darshan as well. Top laners out for both teams, the hook misses, and Stixxay's very low with an ultimate, so he can get into a scary spot, but they're gonna choose mid-turret.
TSM just rushed down the Baron. It looks like after those spawns, CLG will get the mid lane turret, but that's a 5k gold lead and the Baron buff for TSM, and they may be able to clean up even more on the map. So here's the play.
Again.
They went straight to the Baron, out of base. They're just rushing it down. Darshan TP's in, but isn't really able to do too much here. And then they look for the kill over onto Stixxay, but it's just Haunter who is coming out at less than half health, and they're able to burn him down. But once again, Galio just not able to survive at all. Like, he's just getting shredded in these fights. He's too far behind.
That's the thing. We've seen it twice now in these fights, and we expected to. Haunter dives to the back line, requires no backup. Galio dives there. You're expecting your team to follow up with the damage. Haunter can be there all alone, just having a field day, and he has done so. Even bigger now as he starts to build up the wards. Mail has his Merc Treads to get out of that crowd control. A little more tenacity.
Yeah, and the gold advantages are starting to spread around for the team.
Very
They're
much
picking
so.
up more turrets. They get that Baron gold. You know, Stixxay is no longer ahead of Doublelift. Doublelift is going to be very powerful in these team fights. Bjergsen is already level 18. You know, they have massive XP advantages over some of their opponents, you know, in the solo lanes. 2-level advantage for Bjergsen over Huhif.
Yeah.
He was just 4 levels over Darshan, and he thinks 15, so now he's only down 3, but still, like, this is a massive amount of gold, plus the power that is in that experience.
TSM is clamping down as well. I mean, both teams did once they had their leads, and that is very good to see. Anytime you let a game go too long, it really becomes anyone's once again. Right now, TSM in the driver's seat. Darshan clears mid. Haunter will go ahead and get that push back up. Maybe even top lane, depending on what happens here in the bot.
And CLG is trying to stall this game out. They're trying to delay because, you know, Haunter, while Renekton doesn't completely fall off, Galio is going to be worth so much in the late game team fights. If Darshan can get time to catch up in the gold, he will be ridiculously hard to shred. Whereas Haunter will start to be able to be getting picked off, you know, with the amount of DPS that Stixxay and Dardoch bring. Like, that's a higher DPS combo.
The difference
for now, TSM is losing the edge.
The difference between that lane right now, 10,200 gold to 14,700. So just about the Goldie right now in Haunter's hand, playing so strong towards that top side, mid, or I should say bot tier, second two, taking quite a bit of damage.
And CLG, it's the question, do you actually look for the play here? Because if you look for an engage, and that engage fails at this point with TSM having Baron buff, they could perhaps end the game, right? So it's very risky to look for that engage. If it fails, that could be it. But at the same time, they don't want to bleed out too many objectives for free. They're falling way behind in gold.
And not having a teleport up means top lane has to push itself. Getting stopped right before turret will actually be very good. Give it another wave. TSM's going to have to back off. They just get a ping on it, but only a single cannon should just get enough damage on the turret. They should be able to stop it, though.
Yeah, I should be able to stop that with the home guards from Haunter. Going to be able to run out there very quickly, clean that up, and TSM back off. They take down another dragon, so they got a turret for themselves with a Baron. Not the most insane of Baron power plays, but it's something that they were kind of picking up as much guaranteed gold as they could get without taking any huge risks. And once again, their vision is so good in CLG's red side jungle. Like, that is what gives them so much confidence to move in. Like, look at all those wards. There's like 6, 7 wards or whatever in that area. So there's no way that CLG could have gotten a flank without them seeing it coming in. And it's this preparation that gave them the confidence to siege in the first place.
Now it's about moving those wards as well, keeping those across the map. The pressure is still somewhat bottom here. The Baron buff is off, so they can really play either side of the map without worrying about an objective at this point. Elder Drake coming up next, so we still have some time for that. CLG, we may even find, or I'm sorry, TSM may even find them just leaving that vision down there for Elder to come up. Haunter's push on top to free things up, and he'll see if he can find anybody in the jungle here. I'm sure he's happy to take a 1v1 or a 2v1.
Yeah, he really would be, especially because CLG doesn't really know where the rest of his team is, so they don't know if TSM is going to be backing him up or not. But CLG for now, just trying to stabilize as best they can. Not a massive Baron power play there at all, so they did a good job holding on, and they're catching up in the experience advantage because Haunter and Bjergsen are capped out. They cannot get any higher level.
That's a big thing.
So over time, those gaps will close, and over time, Galio will become tankier just because of the flat damage reduction from his taunt and the way that his kit works. He is really designed as that pure tank, and he's looking for that Gargoyle Stoneplate. That'll be a big item to help him survive in the team fights, because for Galio in the team fight, you honestly don't care about your damage hardly at all. You could just pop that Gargoyle Stoneplate right off the bat and try to be ridiculously tanky.
Assist pings towards the top. TSM looks to set up the bushwhack in mid lane. It doesn't look like CLG is going to bite just yet as they head down towards Darshan and Haunter. They're going to bring the fight to the teleport, something you regularly see when you want control of the map.
Some really big item completions came in here for CLG that's going to help him in the team fight here too. The IE and the Void Staff, these are two items that are super important for the team fighting right now, because TSM's front line, Lee Sin and Haunter have built up quite a bit of resistances at this point. So you really do need to get these items, get your spell penetration and your armor penetration to be able to win these 5v5 team fights. And we'll see if Dardoch decides to actually pick up a Last Whisper of his own, because he's a really powerful contributor to that teamfight damage and to shredding those front lines here too on the Graves.
So 36 minutes in now, CLG looks to back. Get a little reset before we get on to the next objective. Would like to welcome everybody over from LCS 2 as we are in our third game of CLG versus TSM. CLG with game 1, TSM with a very hard-fought and clean game 2. And now we are at this point 11-9. Very big lead for the top lane for TSM. And the team's reset now to mid lane.
They are resetting, and it's looking like TSM wants to try to play for the next Baron, which is spawning in 20 seconds. They're trying to move their wards up to that side of the map. They have a pink over by it, and if they can control this area and make CLG face check into them, it could be a tough fight for CLG. But Sven coming from the side, and looks like the fight's going to break out.
Waiting for Darshan to be able to take a few of these engages and live for the team. Afromu to the back, has the battle dance back. Haunter has the back line as he starts the fight, and CLG just starts to melt under the damage of Team Solo mid. Afromu now goes down. Dardoch on the wrong side of the fight. He's going to be going down with a quick bite from TSM, and they chomp down on the rest of CLG. Darshan heads for the hills as TSM heads for the base.
TSM set up that fight so well, flanking from two sides with the Lee Sin and the Renekton. The rest of the squad comes in, and they just shred through CLG. They have the minion waves already pushing, long res timers. They're going to get an inhibitor and perhaps go for even more.
He may be dead, but he's the guy that set these lanes up for TSM. Haunter going down in the fight has prepped these waves so the team can be in position to drop the inhibitors and the turrets. 20 seconds on Dardoch, 7 for Afromu for a little bit of the engage if they need to keep TSM there, but they already head out. Baron is on the plate.
Yeah, they decide to make the much less risky call, go back for that Baron, because if CLG wins a fight in their base, they can then grab the Baron. So TSM gonna grab this up, and just look at the setup. Svenskeren coming from the bot side, Haunter coming from the top side, and then this 3-man squad controlling space so well. Biofrost drops his ultimate, choking that up, and the DPS from TSM are kiting so far back, even though there is the engage from Afromu, no one can follow up because they can't get past this front line. They can't get past the Thresh. They can't get past the zone control of the Taliyah, and they're able to shred them out, and TSM just really won the fight on all sides, it felt like.
Having Haunter come in as well from the backside of that fight, you can see even CLG was kind of taken off guard by how fast they were swarmed by the members of TSM.
But they're looking to set up a trap, and if they see in the bot lane that Haunter is there, they're big stun.
Double lift engaged on. That's going to be a huge shutdown on Bjergsen. What a hit from Afromu. That's the follow-up CLG was waiting for, and they don't even
Haunter's
wait
them,
to light the trigger. Haunter on the back, able to do a 4v1, 5v1. He doesn't even matter what the numbers are. It's up to CLG to re-coordinate and find the kills. They orchestrate their way through the fight, and now look for a middle inhibitor turret.
Yeah, Haunter was shredding them, but they are able to land that redemption. They don't have any minions right now.
That's going to be
TSM
tough.
is trying to cut off the minion wave. CLG is trying to deny that. They want the minions come in to deny the backdoor bonus. CLG could look to end the game if they can get these minions into the base because there's long spawn timers on both Bjergsen and Doublelift. It's critical that they kill off these minions.
That's one hit, 19 seconds coming in, 30 for Haunter, and they are going to be looking for Nexus turrets. They have so much damage. Svenskeren and Biofrost are the only ones. The minions just get there to weaken the turret. 9 seconds on Bjergsen and Doublelift.
They don't have enough time.
Svenskeren's up, and it looks like they have the damage. It's going to be Dardoch on the turret. Garb going down, Svenskeren very low. Stixay goes down as well. The 1-for-1 there, and here comes Doublelift out of the base. He finds a true arrow. Eagle-Eye Doublelift dropping down Huhi, and TSM's going coast to coast for the win.
CLG go for the big play, but it ends up falling flat. TSM defend, and they will march down and end this game.
An absolutely ridiculous game. CLG 3-0 undefeated to start off the summer split are now taken down a peg as TSM, who have been having troubles themselves to start things off, will be able to even this out 2-2. They still got to get to the Nexus. It has been a great best of 3 between these teams, and they will start the final touches on the Nexus turret.
On CLG, what a play in the mid lane, but they thought they could end the game. They didn't just want the inhibitor. They could have played a pretty even game from there. They decided to go for the win. It doesn't pay off, and TSM is able to hold on and take down the series.
Awesome job. The rivalry of TSM and CLG going to TSM in 2-1.
Such an exciting series, though, and a ridiculous ending to that game. Really little things were what made the difference in that final series of plays. You know, TSM trying to delay the minions from getting in, meant that the backdoor bonus stayed up on that inhibitor turret so long, and they weren't able to take down as fast as they wanted. So really smart thinking from both teams to try to go for these plays, to try to turn around the game, but TSM is able to hold on.
Whew. What an awesome series to see, and great for TSM and fans to see that they can and have righted a bit of the ship. We're able to come out after that game 1 loss that they were able to usually just take, right? That's fine, game 1, that's great. TSM will come back and win 2. That hasn't been the case this season, although a funny story, something they needed to stop. And it's something they will try to continue to stave off here as they pick up another victory, although in that same fashion, the whole team participated in this one, from Biofrost and the playmaking supports up all the way to the top. Bjergsen, Haunter, Svenskeren, doing a great job.
Yeah, it definitely was a really big team effort. But Haunter, I think, this game was such a difference maker because he was so far ahead that in the early and mid-game fights, he was just way tankier than his counterpart and putting out so much damage in these team fights. So a lot of credit to him, but the whole TSM squad, especially for staying strong after what could have been a pretty tilting game, you know, against mid-lane Fiora and things like this that you did not expect to come out. And losing to that, they bounce back super strong in game 2. They have a very tightly contested game 3 that they're able to take down, and they go to 2-2 on the split. I
mean, you got to look at that as well. Not even with a grain of salt. You got beat by a Fiora. That can put a lot of teams off and say, what the heck just happened?
Yeah, but mid-lane Fiora.
TSM's able to say that was pretty weird. Great job of mid-lane Fiora, but we can still come back to win. And we actually have a replay here of CLG's mid-lane engage, and then the Nexus defense that will play. What a game. It looked like CLG was just about to take it.
Yeah, I mean, CLG had such a good engage here. They knew that the summoners were down from the previous fight that they had just lost, especially Doublelift and Bjergsen, who walk up. Afromu finds the engage, but look at Haunter doing so much work in the backline. This is a 1v5.
1v5.
If Redemption was not there, he would have picked up multiple kills. And now it's a bit of panic mode here for TSM. But there's no minions for CLG. So TSM is trying to delay these minions from getting there. Watch Sven and Biofrost. They're trying to move up and aggro the minions. Look at him pulling the minions away. This delays so much time on those turrets because the backdoor bonus is still there, meaning the turret takes massively less damage.
Right.
Darshan has to tank for these minions now because there's only 2 alive. If you let the turrets hit them, they will die off and the backdoor bonus will come back up. But he's not healthy enough to actually do it, so he ends up going down. The respawn comes in from Sven. 3-man kick there was just beautiful. And they're able to clean up the fight. The last Nexus turret doesn't even go down. Dardoch barely not able to take that. So some really quick thinking from Sven and Biofrost. Like those couple seconds, if they didn't cut that wave, CLG wins off that play.
Yep. Absolutely. One of the hardest things to realize as well, losing from all the way across the map. It's that slow loss, right? We're talking about how Double says it sucks to lose slow, and that's kind of what the ending was. But we know how much this means for CLG. We heard what Dardoch said coming in here. Beating TSM is beating everybody else, and if you don't, those wins aren't going to matter when you do win.
Yeah, they're not going to matter, and Dardoch said himself, he doesn't care how well they do. If they lose to TSM, he's only looking forward to the rematch, and I think we're going to be looking forward to that rematch too.
Well, I think we know the fire lit under him for the next games. For a first-hand account on that series, let's hear from Zyrene.